Hey, thanks for watching today. We're going to cover over-the-counter tax investing news. We're going to cover 18 markets that are worth looking at right now. We're going to use Parcel Fair and show you how to quickly find over-the-counter deals, analyze what you can see with these properties, and decide if you want to buy them. And then, of course, we use the instructions step by step on our website to help you walk you through the process of finding and buying these tax deeds, tax liens, land bank properties, whatever you're buying. So we're going to jump in. What are we going to do first? If you watch this video series, I really like to give context to tax investors that have shopped at auctions and whatnot. Really want you to understand what an over-the-counter property is and what you're gonna be doing. So let's do some context here at the beginning. I'll make you a deal. I'll put a chapter marker on the YouTube video in case you're coming back to this later and don't want to watch the intro. But this is good information to level set, get you in the mindset for buying over-the-counter properties and what to expect. So. Let's jump in and talk about the misconceptions. Again, we've covered this before, but let's jump right through it. So one misconception is that all tax auction leftovers become available to purchase over the counter. There's markets where you absolutely cannot do that. There's actually some of these markets with large auctions, they don't even have a mechanism for selling over the counter, which means their leftovers are going to go usually to the next sale, or they don't really always have a consistent plan. But I guess the most common way is that they sell them in later auctions, okay? So Indiana, New Jersey, great examples of large tax lien markets where they do not sell over the counter. You have to buy them in future auctions if something goes unsold. There are some states that will eventually sell their leftovers through land banks. It could be even years after these tax liens or tax deeds clear auction. But there are plenty of land banks. We'll talk about some of those in this video when we get to the demo. Georgia and Tennessee are kind of a good examples of that. You could throw Ohio in there maybe. The next misconception is that only junk properties are left over from auctions and become available over the counter. I have plenty of people ask me, like, why would you shop over the counter? These weren't sold. Well, many large auctions don't have enough bidders to buy everything for sale. Imagine you go to an auction with 10,000 properties and there's only 200 bidders. Well, they're not going to sell everything, but it's not because it's necessarily junk. It's just the stuff at the end of the auction. Nobody had any money left. Okay. So that's one case where over the counters can have some nice leftovers because everybody bidding ran out of money. Another reason that we've seen good properties over the counter. I mean, we've bought rental properties and collected rent or flips over the counter before. So they do exist. There is quality properties in the over the counter rolls sometimes. But another reason for that is that the auction advertisements can be obscure, cryptic, or not well publicized. Now, if you've used Parcel Fair, you know that we try to bring those cryptic, confusing, obscure auctions to you and get them in front of you so they're not so confusing. But hey, there's plenty of them out there where there's just not enough, I guess you'd say, circulation in the advertisement to get these properties in front of investors. So in those cases where it's an obscure auction advertisement, those properties could be left over just because investors didn't see or didn't grasp what was for sale. So how could they buy it if they didn't know about it? All right, moving right along. Let's hit these three. Purchasing tax property over the counter is easier than buying at auction. So this is not always true. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's basically the process is going to be different wherever you go, and sometimes over-the-counter application processes can be more complicated than registering for an auction. The next one is purchasing tax property over the counter is faster than buying at auction. Well, sometimes yes, but this is not something you should hold as a hard truth because some over the counter purchasing process can take weeks or longer, months. Even, I mean, I hate to say it, but some of them you can wait years if it's a popular property and you're just waiting to get a chance to buy it. The last misconception we're going to cover is that purchasing tax property over the counter is cheaper than buying at auction. Okay, now let me back up. This misconception comes from people thinking, well, you know what? If I bought at auction, there's competition. But if I buy over the counter, there is no competition. Therefore, it will be cheaper this way. Well, first of all, you could have bought it at auction at basically the face value. If nobody bid on it and it was left over, you could have already had it for that cheapest price. So the cheapest way to buy was the auction because something left over from the auction is going to continue to accrue unpaid taxes and interest and fees. So in states where you're buying properties that have been sitting on the tax rolls over the counter for 3 or 5 or 10 years, some of them are upside down. I mean, I've seen properties where yeah, there's a structure on it, and let's say the property's worth 30, it's going to take 50 to rehab it or something because it's such bad shape, and then they want like 20 something for taxes, 20,000 for taxes because it's been there so long. If you add those numbers together, the property could never sell for that in some cases. So you have to be careful, make sure you're thinking about, hey, what am I going to do with this property if I get it? Is it really worth what I'm putting into it? And am I actually getting a good deal? So yeah, there's plenty of over-the-counter properties to look at. They're not all good deals. All right, so the general guidance that I love to tell people is if you're investing in a new tax market to you and you're learning that new market in a new state, please don't presume that you know anything about that market, okay? Come in with open eyes, fresh mind, ready to learn because you have to do just that. You have to learn. Every state is going to be different. Competition can vary in different states, and sometimes the best deals, they're not even where you would expect. So don't presume like OTC is the best in this state, or auction's the best, or deeds are the best, liens are the best. Learn the market, then you'll know what's best. So yeah, I already covered this. Never presume that OTC is cheapest, fastest, or preferred. Okay, so I know we're moving fast, but I'm trying to get to the demo here for you. So now let's talk about over the counter and like the market as a whole. Okay, so when we're talking about what's left over at auction, we're going to refer to 2024 because we don't have the full numbers for this year yet. But there were 1.166 million properties that went to auction that we tracked. Okay, we've already tracked more this year, so it's going to be bigger numbers when we tally up 2025. Okay, so out of that 1.1 million, a bunch were unsold and went over the counter. That's how over the counters become over the counter. They have to go unsold first. And when we look at those numbers, 155,000 were added to the OTC ranks in 2024 of 2024 leftovers. Let's say that. So what we're really talking about here is 13% of the market went unsold and went over the counter, which means 87% of the market sold at auction or some form or fashion was did not become over the counter. It may be that uh, it's one of those states that doesn't have over the counters. So if you're only going to focus on over the counter properties, you're looking at 13% of the market and you're missing 87%. So my recommendation, get a balanced strategy, learn your market. When it's right and the deal is at the auction, do it there. When the deals are elsewhere, like over the counter, do it there. Sometimes you buy from the owner, sometimes you buy from a land bank. You have to learn where those deals are. But don't put on the blinders and buy just over the counter. One of my pet peeves is when people get started in Parcel Fair and say, I only want to look at over the counter deeds. My first question back is, what are you trying to do with the property? Because a lot of times they're stepping over deals by putting those blinders on and saying, hey, I'm building a rental portfolio, but I'm not going to consider Indiana because it's a lean state. Okay. I know people who've built massive rental portfolios in just Indiana and never buying in a deed state and never buying a deed for that matter. Those liens are quality tax liens that you can build a rental portfolio with. Okay. So instead of focusing on, I just want over the counter deeds, try focusing on what am I trying to do with the property and how do I do it in this market? Keep an open mind. Okay. Now, let's talk about the totals in the 18 markets we're going to cover today. This is just a snapshot point in time today of these markets. So you'll see Arizona 32% of what we have on the site is actually 31,000 over the counters. Alabama, 18,000 over the counters. Then you go to Florida, 10,000. West Virginia, just under 10,000, and so forth. There's some of these markets have plenty to shop from. Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Missouri. There's thousands of properties to choose from. When we get to Tennessee on this list, it's interesting because those 2,300 properties, that's just one county. That's Shelby County because that's the only county in Tennessee that has over the counters. So you keep going down this list, and we're going to go through it now in our live demo section. But I just wanted you to get an idea of this pie chart of what's where, right? Alabama's a good chunk, Arizona, Florida, and then moving down the list, West Virginia, Mississippi, Pennsylvania. And around Michigan, we get below the 2% mark, so those slices of pie are too small to call out. Okay, I'm sorry if that felt rushed. I wanted to make sure we covered that. It's all good information for you. And now that we're kind of on the same page about over the counters, let's talk about the exciting part. Let's talk about the markets that we want to talk about today and how do we look at them on Parcel Fair. Okay. Here's the live demo. Okay, so we're using Parcel Fair at parcelfair.com as the address. So this is the Parcel Fair YouTube channel. Okay, if you're watching this for the first time, We'll have a link in the description if you want to get a free 7-day trial here. But in general, this is the tool that we use and show you how to investigate these markets. Okay. So when we're talking about over the counters, there's several tools. We're not going to look at the auction calendar. That's going to be my auction video each month. But I'd like to show you in the tools menu right here, we have something just for over the counters called the OTC inventory report. Okay. Now, if we click on that, all right, Alabama is the first one below. It's huge. We've been tracking history on this since 2017. I don't know if it's very useful to you now to go back 8 years like that, but you can see over time this inventory has dwindled, but it still has 18,000 properties, and that's what you should focus on. What's in it now? Okay, the green bars in the chart show every month what was added, and the red shows what was taken away. So if you click on those bars, it loads the properties up on the screen. So 120 new parcels were added in October. We're only 5 days in, okay? Those parcels are largely in Jefferson, Birmingham, but that gives you an idea of how this report works. Okay, so Alabama is actually, it's not one of our featured markets today. I just wanted to show you that to kind of give you an idea of a mature market and what we're looking at. The market I want to tell you about first today, we're actually going to talk about Florida really quickly. And I know we don't talk about Florida often, mainly because this is not the season for when you see a lot of stuff in Florida. A lot of the OTCs happen in late June, July. But throughout the year, we get random little drops like this, where it's like Sewanee, Florida, and it's this. I'm on October 5th right now. You're gonna get this video out the night of October 5th. Tomorrow morning, October 6th, 8 a.m. These parcels, and these are tax liens in Florida, will go on sale over the counter. Okay. So this is how you check out the report. It's not the RV we're buying. It's actually the property behind it. You can see it's just kind of blocking our view. But this is a tax lien that's $1,000. It's one tax lien. It's a 2025, and the value of the property is 10 grand. Okay, it's that simple. Florida tax liens, if you don't know about them, they're 18% interest, 5% penalty, which is guaranteed interest, no matter when they redeem. So you get at least 5% on your money, and it's a 2-year redemption. The downside to Florida is that the tax liens give you no path to property ownership. If you buy a tax lien, you get the 2 years redemption are complete, and you still have the lien, it goes to a deed auction anyways, where you or anybody else can buy it. So Florida's great interest rate, a lot of supply, but if you're trying to own property, you're going to skip over these liens and go to the deeds. But I'm showing you this anyways because we have these 130 tax liens going on sale tomorrow. If we want to know how to buy these, this big green button right here under purchase options will show you. Now, basically, we're going to the county held certificates for. So for Suwannee County, this is going to be on sale tomorrow. And what you're going to see you're going to use the purchase option here to follow the link to the website. And on realauction.com is where we're going. I'll just show you from realauction.com from scratch. If you were on their website, and there's a reason I'm going this way to show you, just hang out with me for a minute here. If we look at the different counties, let's scroll down. There's Suwannee. It says county held opens TBD, but let's go ahead and click on it. And what you're going to find are they have you can preview the items for sale here. And looking through the list, you see some of them are unavailable, and then you see some are just different years. Now, notice that their website says 402 records, and our site said 130. The reason the number differs is not a mistake. It's that some of these properties have multiple liens on them, which means you can actually see these two parcel numbers are the same with liens from 2 different years. So basically, since there's about 400 liens on here, we subtract the unavailable ones first, which whatever's left of that, then we group them into the properties that you see on Parcel Fair. So let's go back to Parcel Fair. I'm going to do something interesting here. So Florida, just Suwannee County, right there. Okay, so 130 over-the-counter liens. And so we have these on screen now. What we can do is, if I want to see only the ones with 2 liens available, I can do that. So 80 of these properties have at least 2 liens available. So now that we've filtered that down, let's click on the first one. This one actually has 6 tax liens available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all right there. So if you were on the Real Auction site, that property is going to have 6 line items for it, 6 different rows dedicated to that property. So what we did is we grouped it for you onto one report with 6 liens on it. So before you think we've missed 300 properties, we really just group them. We group the liens onto the property for you. So you don't have to go look at 6 different liens to find out it's the same property. We did that for you. This is the property, and if this is obviously a property you would not want to buy. It's a long, lean-looking ditch. So, let's just go over here. Let me see if I can find a better example for you. This is a $10,000 property. This is probably more what you would like. It's almost an acre. It's 2 tax liens available. It has some value to it. So therefore, in Florida, if you're playing the interest rate game, this is a good one to buy because you actually do, and funny enough, want a redemption if you're trying to invest in interest rates in Florida. So that's, I know a tiny market, Swanee, Florida. So while we're talking over the counters in Florida, there's a lot of other ones, okay? You can shop over the counter liens on our site. And let me just open up a map and we'll show you that briefly here. What's a good county to go through? Let's try, yeah. Let's try Putnam. I know there's a lot in Putnam. All right, so we're looking at this kind of scattered number of lots here, 2,500 of them to be exact. And basically, clicking on any of these, click the details. It's very similar to what we just showed you in Swanee. 4 tax liens available on this property. Click the button here and go to Real Tax Lien to buy it. And then you just essentially you have to go through the unavailables and find it that way. But this tax lien is available to purchase. Actually, there's 4 on this property to buy. So lots going on in Florida year round. There are some deeds, not very many over-the-counter deeds in Florida. As usually about a couple hundred are available. So don't get too excited about over-the-counter deeds in Florida. They're very rare. Okay, so what we're going to do now is move on to West Virginia. Last month we did a kind of our featured market was West Virginia because we wanted to show you that on October 1st they were going to open the West Virginia site and start selling these tax liens over the counter. All right, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to put markers on my screen. So we're looking at 9,000 properties, okay? This is a new feature we just added to Parcel Fair. Let's go back to satellite. You can actually view these markers on the screen. If you didn't catch how I did that, on the right side, click the blue Markers and Overlays button and click the first option, Show Search Results Markers, okay? And what that did was it put a marker on these properties. Again, this is like a lot of markers, 9,000 properties, but it helps me if I'm zooming in, I can kind of narrow in on the property that way. So you can turn that feature on, turn it off, whatever you want to do. It's just another way for you to locate these properties. Every time I see West Virginia, these mountains from the satellite view look really nice. It's a very picturesque area, the way these rivers carve through it. This looks like a kind of a city area, so let's zoom in here. Let's check out a house. I cheated. I did the helicopter view and kind of found the house that way. I could click on my search filters here and do improvements only, and that would actually bring me the same property or same bunch of other properties too. Let's open the report on that one. I'm going to come back to it. Meanwhile, let's go see how many of these have improvements. We're looking at all counties in West Virginia for any improvements. So remember, we had 9,000 total, but there's 1,381 that have improvements on them. So that's a good chunk. Man, this extends way up into the north corner of the state. So you have a lot to shop for here. And I know there was this urgency behind buying on October 1st, but as West Virginia gave us more information about the process, we found out that the bidding is open for the entire month of October. And so it's kind of an interesting over-the-counter market. It's kind of a hybrid market where these are over-the-counter leftovers, but you do place a bid to win them. So let's just talk through one, okay? This one is a vacant property according to the U.S. Postal Service. It's this house right here. The value is very low on the county's assessment, so that's interesting. But if we're evaluating this, let's say we check this house out, we like it. We're going to click on the purchase steps here, and then we're going to continue to the OTC site. Okay. Now, as we mentioned in the last video, they were going to add documents and videos to the West Virginia site to help you purchase. Okay. Now, this is really important. I'm going to show you again. This is a lifeline to their site. Click the green button and then click this green button, like purchase options, and then the continue button. Okay, so they give you a search form, but they also have a video down here for showing you how to bid and buy. And a little information here too is October 1st through 31st, even 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay, they're going to close on November 1st, and then in a few months in January, they're going to reopen. So it seems like this OTC inventory is only open certain months of the year. So you have a window right now at these 9,000 properties to check them out. Okay, now here's the tricky part. You have to find the property to bid on it. So what we've done in Parcel Fair is we have this reference cert number here, okay? Now, let me back up and show you, actually, let's go here, the cert number, let's paste it there. So I need to filter by the year, first of all. So 2023 is the year, which means I'm going to select the one that has 2023 in the parentheses. It's confusing. Remember we had the county was Kanawha, K-A. So let's go straight to it. Whoops, I already passed over it. Okay, so I have selected the year and the county. I have to select both of them, or at least I've selected the county or the year. I think you can do all counties. And then I put in the cert number to search for it, and that goes straight to the property. Now notice the cert number they use here, if you try to use that to search by, it actually doesn't work, okay? Their own cert number doesn't work on their own site. So what we've done is we figured out that if you hack off that first part, we give you the correct number to search for. So that's already that work is already done for you, where other people have to go figure out how to find these properties. So this is the record for the property. There's a little statement here you can go read. This is, I think, it has to do with just kind of the background of how it's here. But what you want to look at is we have the name and basically the description, but let's click on that place bid button. So now we see that there are no bids on this property yet. Little information about it, not much to go on here, but the minimum bid, $1,407.18, okay? $1,407. You'll notice on Parcel Fair, we had that in the amount due field, okay? The last time I showed you West Virginia, we did not have those numbers yet. We got them recently when the list was updated. So the amount due is here. In fact, if you're on Parcel Fair and we were searching, if you have a budget and you don't want to spend, more than $2,000, let's put a max taxes owed at $2,000. And now we're going to only see the liens in West Virginia that have a house on them for less than $2,000. Okay, so that's still a lot of results. Let's say your budget's $1,000. We're going to go $1,000 less. Okay, we'll cut it down to 800. That's still a lot of properties. But the point is, using these search filters, you can really do a lot more than you can on the West Virginia website where you're kind of flying blind, okay? You could, in theory, click on 1 year at a time and then, pick the county that we had, like, where'd that go? Kanawha County. And I don't have a cert number, so I'm searching for everything right now, okay? Well, guess what? The top results have all sold already. These are things that are not even available, and there's no filter for the status. So we have to fish through and find the first property with no bid. There it is. Then we have to keep going. A lot of these are not available. So what Parcel Fair did for you was it looked through tens of thousands of records on the site. It distilled it down to the ones that you actually care about and gives you search filters that are not on the West Virginia site. So while everybody else is clicking one record at a time, one county at a time, 1 year at a time, on Parcel Fair, you're looking at the whole state at a time. All years, all counties, all properties. If you're a land person, you can do vacant land. If you want, let's just clear my filters and say vacant land. Let's do minimum of 10 acres. I want some big properties. There's 37 of them, okay? So there's 9,000 over-the-counter liens. This website has tens of thousands of properties you can't buy. We've already fished through those to find these for you. We narrowed it down to 37 properties that you can look at that are 10 acres or more, okay? So that just saved you not hours, not days, probably weeks of time. And remember, there's only 1 month to buy these. So let's click on one of these. It's a large amount of land. This is 85 acres, 1 tax lien. The amount due is $155. Here's the instructions to buy it. We're going to grab that certificate number. We're going to go to the county website. I need to remember the year too. Don't forget that. So it's a 2023, which means in parentheses 2023, Boone County, and that cert number, I'm pasting it right there. Okay, so that's 3 steps. You have to get the year, the county, the cert number, search. There it is. Here's the property with no bid on it. $155 is the bid. So again, this is good stuff. This is saving you days or hours, weeks of time, whatever that may be. Watch their little video on the website as when you find it, because that will talk you through all the details I'm not going to cover here because their video already covers it. But if you're going to shop in West Virginia, become an expert. You should know more than we know about West Virginia because they have all the tools there. You can go learn it. This could be your niche. And while other people are bouncing around the site trying to figure out what things are, you can be a selective shopper hitting only the deals that make sense. Okay. So that's probably all I'm going to say for West Virginia. This is our first time tracking the over the counters here, so it's new to us as well. But when I see an opportunity like this, I like to encourage people to go learn it, go figure it out, go find it, come back and tell us how it went. Tell us what you bought. Tell us what you didn't buy. Was it too competitive? Was it, too expensive? Whatever that may be. This is how we all learn and help each other out. Okay. So that's enough on West Virginia. Let's move on. See, the next market that we were going to touch on today, I figured since we were talking about over the counters in that format, we'll talk about Arkansas because they have a similar process. But what we're looking at here, in September, they added 1,399 parcels. Okay. I'm going to click back to September and we're going to load those on screen. So this is all of what was added in September. Okay. All right in front of you. You'll notice there's a lot of red bars in Arkansas. This year, we saw the inventory drop more than any other year. That blue level is kind of like a water line up top. This inventory had as much as 27,000 parcels back in 2020. We saw it get down to 93 parcels a few months ago. But I think I mentioned in this video series it was going to replenish. And there in August, we had 126, 1,399 in September were added. The inventory is now back up to a better level at 1,461 properties. Now we're only a few days into October, and they've already added 10 properties. So Arkansas, let's just look at the 10 that were just added, okay? Let's see. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said sometimes OTC properties can have value? Well, let's go see one that has looks like the best county valuation here. Okay, this is a commercial building, I think. Some kind of 137,000 is the ARV. I'm sorry, that's not the ARV. That's the county value. The ARV is 80,000 here, so that's a big discrepancy. Rarely do we see the county value higher than the after repair value, but I would probably trust this ARV more because we can see the comps of what's sold. It looks like to get good sales records, some of these are residential, so take that with a grain of salt. You might want to kind of consider what the potential is for this property, especially if you know the area. So yeah, OTC properties can have some value. There's another one right here. This is a house, okay? And basically, what we're going to look at here, the county value is at 32,000. The ARV is 50,000. Okay, after repair value is ARV. The estimated rent potential is 7. All right, so yeah, there are properties that have value that are over the counter. And in the Arkansas process, you would click on these, you would again view the property report, and basically place your bid at the county website. Very similar to what we see in West Virginia right now. All right, let's move on to Mississippi. And so Mississippi's had 323 parcels added in the month of October, and we're only 5 days in. Okay, so that's a big chunk of deeds that have shown up. And basically, let's just pick a random one and take a look at it. How about this one? I don't know. This is going to be land only, but that's okay. So it's a vacant lot beside this house, and basically what you're going to do is click on the green button here and follow our instructions that we've documented. There are step-by-step instructions to navigate you through the Mississippi website because it's kind of an odd search, okay? Once you get the hang of this and figured out, it'll be a lot easier. Our instructions are here to help you. So Mississippi's a great market for these tax deeds over the counter. Let's see, right now there's 6,400 on our site and on their site too, same number. And they're replenishing every month a few hundred, okay? October already has a nice chunk. So pay attention to Mississippi every month. You want to make sure you're catching any deals there that are going to fit your need. All right, let's see. Let's move on to Michigan. The reason we're talking about Michigan today is we added Wayne County last month, a second inventory for Wayne County. They have 2 land banks, and already 48 parcels added in October. So this is going to be our first example of a land bank in this video. But let's pop one open. I did make a Detroit investment video a few weeks ago, so if you want to know a lot more about this, I would go check that out. But basically, you're buying from a special program that's trying to move properties like this one, and there will be strings attached. A land bank is entitled to put conditions on your purchase. Okay, so even though the amount due is only $2,000, the ARV is 144,000. You should anticipate some work. Click the continued application button. This takes you to the land bank website where we get some nice current pictures. The great thing about the land bank is sometimes they go inside. They did not go inside on this one. They made me a liar. So this particular one, we can only look at the outside. But land banks sometimes have good inventory, good prices. Read the legal notices, read what you're buying because there could be some extra costs right here for quiet title services. There could be stipulations where they want you to bring the property up to code, for example. So land banks are their own special animal to buy from. Again, there could be some great potential there. If you want to know more about Detroit and Michigan, basically land banks, go watch our Detroit investing video. It covers a lot of those pitfalls and what to watch out for. All right, moving along to DC. The reason I'm bringing this one up, it's not because new properties were added, it's because nobody's buying anything, okay? In August, we saw 461 parcels added, 35 sold, okay? September, 12 were added, and 11 sold. All right. So we're at a net positive on a month where, only 12 properties were added. For some reason, people aren't buying here. And I like, the idea of the DC properties have good value. These liens are favorable terms. I'm going to refresh my memory here really quick. So if I go to Parcel Fair auction calendar, I can go check out the terms here. These are 18% interest rate, 6-month redemption. Okay. Think about that for a minute. 18% interest, 6 months redemption. You can foreclose on these properties pretty quick. It's kind of like Maryland or Indiana, where you only have to wait a few months in some cases to foreclose. So, one of the fastest paths to ownership, and nobody's buying in this market. I'm not sure why. If you know why, tell me. Let's just open a map and we can take a peek at what these are. I'm just going to clear filter so we get everything. Yeah, so here are those 413 parcels. DC is a small area. If you know it, you should shop around and see what these are. That one looks like a ditch, so I know why people aren't buying some of these, but some of them have to have some value, right? So, you know, if you are familiar with this market, want to tell us about it, I would love to hear it, but I just can't fathom why this many are added to the site and have not been purchased yet. So, this one, it actually clarifies it is the vacant land here, but it says land only. Anyways, so yeah, maybe this just picked over. I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me why these are not selling. But from the numbers, I can tell you a lot more were added than have sold this year. So let's move on to New York. We've been tracking New York OTCs, looks like almost a year now. So we have some nice data here. 2 parcels were added so far in October. We had a nice 25 added back in September. So there's only one of them has sold so far right there. So there's plenty to shop from. Let's check out the one that's sold and see if we can. So somebody bought a row house, and it was 134,000 county valuation, 190,000 ARV, which is the number you care about the most. So yeah, somebody bought this from the land bank, and so now it's not available. But you can see the kind of deals other investors are buying by looking at that. So let's pick one that has not sold. There we go. So this is another house. It's $52,000 is the county valuation, but we're looking at an ARV of 121. That's a nice bump there. So this is in Syracuse. The land bank instructions are here. Click on that, and you can click straight over to the application on their site. There it is. Okay, so yeah, New York, just a steady market with a few properties added every month. We're getting into kind of those markets now that are like that. In Colorado, we've had uh, there were 22 added in September. Only one of them is still there, so those got removed pretty quick. Those sold fast, I guess. Nothing new in October yet. Not even nothing has been taken away yet in October. No change. Louisiana, same story. Everything so far in October is removed parcels. Let's go back to September. Click that green bar. 84 parcels were added. You can see a lot of them have already been sold. So there's a little bit of delta there, but in Louisiana, we're talking about New Orleans. It's the OTC market we're tracking there. Let's go to Maryland. 18 new parcels. They look like they're all in Baltimore City. These were added last week because, yeah, this is October. Most of these are buildings, it looks like. Let's just click on one and take a look at the opportunity on this property. Man, I'm just hitting all the row houses today, apparently. But you're looking at a tax lien on a row house. The county value 72, ARV 167. Okay, so nice ARV there, 1,400 a month in rent. Maryland, you're buying a tax lien. You click on the instructions here to go buy it. And I say that some things in Maryland you're going to buy from the land bank, but this in particular is a tax lien. People like Maryland because if this thing is occupied, you can start the foreclosure in 9 months after buying. If it's vacant, you can start the foreclosure in 6 months. So very rapid tax lien market there. That is a good reason to consider Maryland. Missouri, 2 parcels added just last week. Last month, 6. Not a ton going on here. It's Jackson is the county. I believe that's Kansas City, and it's the land bank. Yeah, it's another land bank state to look at here. Oklahoma, this is just a tiny blip. We had a big jump back in August and then 6 more this month. A little bit. These are tax deeds. People like them a lot. Oklahoma is maybe the most picked over the counter deed state that I know of. It just gets a lot of attention. Tennessee had 1 property added last week. And if we're looking at last month in September, we had 81 new added. A lot of these are gonna have building value. You can sort by clicking the column heading there. Right off the top, let's just pull this one open. And as well, this is kind of a interesting building. I don't think we're gonna be able to analyze this one very well because it looks industrial to me. We're gonna just move on and find something else that looks more residential, like this one. Okay, so what we're talking about is a vacant property address. The county value is at 66,000. The ARV from comps is 107, 1,100 estimate per month per rent. And it's a nice looking house as far as tax properties go. You will have to buy this from the land bank, which is this blue button right here that takes you straight to all that information like we've been doing the whole video. The Shelby Land Bank, their prices are historically a little higher than others. In fact, in this case, they want 66.4 for this house. They don't always want county value, but this time they do. You see the amount due. So kind of take it with a grain of salt. It's like, you're buying county value, but that really should be considered with the lens of the ARV is much higher. If this property is in good shape and you don't have to put a lot of money into it, you could do well with it, especially if you want a rental property, 1,100 a month. So that's how you break apart deals when the pricing is high. You just need to think about what do I have to do to the property? How much can I get out of it? Can I rent it? Whatnot. So, but yeah, this is a good example of a nice house added recently, just in the last few weeks, actually. All right, 2 more markets we're going to cover. Wisconsin is a quick one. We added a bunch of properties in March. We've been tracking it ever since, and only 12 have been removed. Uh, but the 1,800 parcels that are in there, it's a lot of land. And tell you what, I know this is not one of our featured markets, but we'll crack open the map real quick. Douglas County. So we're looking at these over-the-counter deeds. They're right here near the Great Lakes, and I mean, you can see for yourself. Some of those are literally underwater, like there's water over them. Some of them are just in the trees over here. I've never been to this part of Wisconsin. I don't know what you're talking about if you're talking about these properties, but I can tell you there's a house, a nice looking house right there. This is the adjacent land next to it. So if you want to buy it, click on that property report over here. Uh, Go investigate it. This is kind of one of those mystery markets to us. We don't know much about it, but we do have all the steps to buy it right here. If you know the area, Douglas County could be a nice little place for you to shop where clearly nobody else is shopping right now. And lastly, Pennsylvania, probably the quietest market we have. They're in the middle of upset sale season right now, or just actually the re-offers. So not a lot was added to the over-the-counter rolls. So that concludes everything we're going to show you property-wise. So this is a good time for me to talk about the online meetups. We have one coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to put details, actually more like 3 weeks. Details will be on our Facebook group. You can see on the Connect menu on Parcel Fair, Facebook group is right there. And underneath that, you can also find information on the online meetups page. We have recordings of the previous 2, and this is where the form will be to register for the next one. So join the Facebook group. If you're in Parcel Fair, you can go to the online meetups page, look at it that way. But it's a great way to stay in touch with us, learn what we're doing, what's coming up. And of course, the YouTube channel is a great way for that too. So great segue to tell you to subscribe to this channel so you will get notified when new videos drop. We put out a myriad of videos, so many topics, just a wide variety from auctions to OTCs to market focus videos. So you don't want to miss those. Subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it. It tells us to make more of them. And yeah, I hope this was useful for you. If it was, or you want to chat, talk to us on the YouTube comments, or even better yet, go to the contact page right here. That's just going to take you straight to us directly and skip the comments board. We can dialogue directly over email if you go to this page. So the contact link is in the top header of the website, parcelfair.com. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Best of luck if you're shopping in some of these OTC inventories that have some exciting new things going on. There's plenty to choose from here. A lot of those markets had properties added just in the last few days. So yeah, happy shopping, and we'll see you next time.